Percentiles, you guys again are familiar with this, not maybe finding them, but what they are, because so often in your academics you are labeled. Often you take standardized tests, and one of the things they often give you is your percentile score, right? So basically a percentile says where you fall, where your score falls, what percent of data. So if you took the ACT and you're at the 80th percentile, what does that mean? You scored higher than 80% of people who took the ACT. And that's essentially what it says. So we basically want to learn in this section not only how to interpret them, but how to find those, how to find what scores a certain percentile. So percentiles are used when you compare your scores. So first off, let's start with a definition. So here's my definition I have. So for a number P, between 1 and 99, the P's percentile separates the lowest P percent of the data and this is a formal definition from the highest 100 minus P percent. Is this better here? Okay. No, President's Day. I talked to your school board. Okay. So, like we talked about on ACT, like an 80th percentile separates the lower 80% from the upper 20%, and that's that number that's at that point.
Is P capitalized?
I think, and I guess I can look, I think your book uses lowercase p. I think it should be a lowercase for this. Let's go through an example about how we're going to do some different calculations with this. So let's do let's come up with some type of example. I want to do, let's just do the months of your birthday. So our data I'm going to collect is the stats class month of the birthday. Okay, so what I need is I'm just going to go around the room and tell me what month your birthday is in. Sydney. Give me a number, please. I want a number. Mackenzie.
10. 2. 5. 12.
Elizabeth.
That's 6. 2. 10.
Okay, so if you want to know, so I guess my question we're asking is, here's our data set here, and we could ask a lot of questions about this, but let's ask this first question. The question I want to ask: which month is the 30th percentile? Okay, well, one of the first things that we have to do if we're trying to find which which month is the 30th percentile. Because remember, when we talk about percentiles, it's for this particular data set. It's for the data we just collected. And so the first thing you have to do to find this is you're going to need to order your data. So let's arrange the data in order. So we're going to take the data. Let's see. We have no ones. We have what? 2 2s. So 2 2s. And then what do we have next? No 3s.
4.
We have 1 4. And then 3 5s.
And 1 7.
1 6. 1 7. 3 10s. 10, 10, and 10, and then 3 12s. Okay, so we arrange the data in order. Now, the formula to find this. So the formula to find the it's basically it's which piece of data equals some percentile. So our formula is L equals P over 100 times N. And so in this, and again, these formulas are on the sheet, on the formula sheet. You have to know what each thing is. L equals the position of the data, or the data position. Is it the first number, the second number, the third number? P would be the percentile. And then N is the number of data values. So for our question, we said, well, what is the 30th percentile? So the position would be 30. That's an L, yes. And I believe your book uses a capital L for that.
Is the P capital?
I think the book uses a lowercase, yes. I think it's the lowercase one. Okay, so I guess one more thing to this, I guess, about the L. I guess let's do the L and I'll talk about how to round it. So it's 30 over 100 times N. What's our N value in this?
14.
We had 14. Yep. Okay, so we have 14. So I calculate that out. 30 divided by 100 is 0.3. So 0.3 times 14 is 4.2. Now, when you're looking at position, right, that has to be a whole number. It's a discrete number because we have a discrete number of data values. You can't have the number can't be in the 4.2 position. So here's the kind of the rules. So if L is not a whole number, so first rule, if L is a decimal, then you need to round up. So in our example, we're going to round L up to what?
5.
L will be 5. Now, the second thing then, if L is a whole number, we're looking at what data position, right? We're basically saying, but the rule is to always round up to the next one. Okay, I'm looking for basically the 30th percentile. If L is a whole number, then you use position L plus 1. Okay, so you're going to use the position of L plus 1.
So that was 4. You
If it was exactly 4, we use number 5. Right. Alright, so what did we determine here then? We haven't answered the question yet, right? L is not the answer. What's L again? L is what position? So we want number 5. So the 30th percentile would be, we could take our data now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is the 30th percentile. Now, this data has really not a whole lot of significance, right? Because we're looking just at the month of your birthday. But it's just some data we could collect to do that. Okay, so 30th percentile, and our data here is 5. Now, so that's finding which piece of data is in a particular percentile. Now, maybe more useful is finding the percentile of a given data, just kind of the opposite things. We're going to do that next.
So 5 is the 30th percentile.
So the 30th percentile is 5. So the people here today, right, that means that 30% of the birthdays are May or less, and basically 70% are May or above. Okay? Because as you can see, we have a lot of late year birthdays, right? I mean, we have a lot of, in fact, we have 6 of them that are October and later. Right? Our data is somewhat skewed a little bit, skewed to the later months. Actually, we probably
skewed right.
Yeah.
The big things would be at the right.
Right.
And the little tail would be at the left.
Okay. Part 2 today is finding the percentile of a given data value. Just kind of the opposite. Now, if I give a given data value, what percentile is that? So, here's kind of the formula and the steps to go through this. So, the steps on this process. First, you're going to, again, arrange the data in order. Second, the formula we're going to use to find a percentile it's 100 times, and then you're going to be it's the number of values, data values, less than the number plus 0.5. Divide that by n. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to find what data value you have, right? You count how many number of values less than x, add 0.5 to that, take it times 100, divide by n. And the third thing you're going to do is you're going to round to the nearest whole number. There's the whole number. Oh, you can't see that. Yeah, the whole thing divided by n. Yeah, it's whole, all that, 100 times all that divided by n. So,
The whole thing's over in.
So on our, so an example, so let's, to who had the birthday in July? Is that Sydney? All right, so if we look at the July birthday, right, so the percentile would be, well, if we look back, well, first off, it's 100 times. Now, if we look at the number of data values less than x, so we're picking 7, right? So how many data values do we have less than 7?
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 less. There was 8. Okay, here's 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, your pen's
Yeah, it's going off.
Okay.
So I was like,
So you weren't counting the last one.
Yeah, so there are 7. We add 0.5 to that. And then we divide by n, we said was what, 14?
yeah.
Okay. So it's 7.5 times 100 divided by 14, and I get 53.6. So what do I do with that? Well, the rule says I add nearest whole number, which would be 54. So Sydney falls in the 54th percentile of the class with her birthday in July. Which you would think, yeah, that kind of makes sense because July is somewhere in the middle of the year. We'd expect it to be somewhat.
Like when babies are born, they say, oh, they're in like the 60th percentile for their weight.
Right. So yeah. So if you take your so they always look at the height and the weight, and that just means 60th percentile means if you had all the babies at that age, that they weigh as much or more than 60%, but they weigh less than 40%.
Right, so if they're in the 99th percentile, they weigh more than 99% of them.
Right. So yes. So then, and that just kind of, again, they check that to see are we growing correctly or not. Okay, the homework for this section. Page 136, 5 through 17, the odd. 21, 23, 27, and 31. We still have to do box and whisker and quartiles, and we'll tackle that tomorrow.